Hey friends, it's Ashley and today I am here to share a new layout with you for the cut shop. I'm using our brand new floral wreath cut file. You can find this in the shop, and we also have some other new cut files that you'll see at the end of the video. And here's a look at the layout that I'm going to be creating. I am using the new Amy Tan Stay Sweet collection with this cut file, and I started by cutting this twice because I wanted it to kind of have the halves of this and then meet in the center. And the reason that I cut two was because I was afraid if I cut it in half, it wasn't going to meet where I wanted it to. But I make use of the excess later on in the video. So I'm just going to get started backing these, and I'm just going to do half of each one of the floral wreath cut files. So I'm just going to flip these over. I'm using the 6x8 paper pad from the Stay Sweet collection and just tracing my flower shapes, and I'm going to cut those out and then back each one of those. And I'm going to try to use a different pattern paper for each flower. There are some that I double up on just because some of the patterns didn't really work as backing these, and because they were patterns that I thought were really cute and I liked and I wanted to use more than once. And this collection has a lot of fun colors in it. There are some colors kind of that I normally wouldn't work with, like the purple and the green. But they look really cute in this collection, and I like that there's so much variety of color. And I decided to go with a pattern paper for the background. This is the 12x12 paper from the collection, and it's called Fruit Cocktail. I debated back and forth if I wanted to use white cardstock background or if I wanted to use the pattern paper, and I just decided to go with the pattern paper because I wanted to cut the cut file from white cardstock. And to me, when you do that and then you put it on a white cardstock background, sometimes it gets lost, and I really wanted the cut file to show up. So you can see I've gotten one of those completely finished, and you can see how I cut it. And I'm just going to finish off this second one here. For these last two flowers, I really didn't have to cut the whole thing because you're going to see where I'm going to trim that off when I place it on the page. So I'm just finishing up these pieces just because that's where my line kind of ended. So I did want some pattern paper to go behind those parts of the flower. So I'm just going to cut this last one and put it on, and I am using my Scotch glue liquid adhesive in my fine liner bottle for those. It really makes it easy to adhere it. And I just made some pencil lines where I knew I could cut that and where I wanted it to line up. And I'm making sure to get a lot of adhesive on the back of that just to make sure it's really secure onto the paper. So now I'm lining it up where my pencil lines were and just pressing it down to get it in place. And then I'm just going to trim off this excess. And so I have the excess from the piece on the left side and the right hand side. And you can see how I used it. I made some extra little flowers. So if you do something like this with a cut file and you have some extra pieces, you can kind of trim it apart. And that's what I'm doing here because I want to use these as some extra embellishments on the layout. So I'm just trimming off those excess pieces. And I'm going to do that same process of just backing these with some of the pattern papers from the cut file, or I'm sorry, from the Amy Tan 6x8 paper pad. And I do try to use some papers for these that I did not use to back the other flowers, just because I want these to layer over some of those other flowers and really stand out. So I'm just going to do this one here for you, and it's a cute kind of polka dot pattern paper. And I'm just going to trace that off and then trim around it. And I don't know if you could see it, but when I'm working with cut files like this, sometimes I get lost as to where it lines back up. So when I'm using flowers especially, I like to write just kind of a little mark or a T and then leave my cut file exactly how I had it when I traced it. And then that way I know how to just place it back where it says top or T. And so that's a good tip when you're backing cut files, and then that way you don't have to try to finish matching up where it goes back together. So now I'm going to add my photo, and I'm going to put some dimensional foam behind this just to pop it up. And this is just a black and white photo of our daughters. This was actually taken at Disney World, and so I just cropped kind of close in on their faces. And I'm going to put the flowers too, and I'm also going to use some of the dimensional foam for these. And I'm just trying to figure out the best placing, where those look best against what other color flower, just so they'll stand out. So I'm going to cut some little strips here of the foam to add behind those, and I'm just using my tape runner to add the adhesive behind these. It's big enough that I can do that, you know, and get the adhesive on the back of the foam. And I just have 5 of these. I wanted to place them around the floral wreath just to get that extra layered look and have that extra dimension popping up. And I also did machine stitch around both of these off camera just to add some extra texture in the center of that. And now I'm going to get started with my embellishments, and I have some of the kind of puffy stickers here. These are kind of foam, actually foam, the foam thickers. I have some of the ephemera, I have the sticker book, and then I have the cute little enamel hearts. And they're making these ephemera packs now to where they don't have the little opening. So I have found that the best way to store these is just to cut it open, take out all the pieces, and then I get a Ziploc bag and put my pieces back in there with the little kind of cardboard packaging piece, just so I can keep up with what it's from. And that is the best way I have found to store those. And I used some of those ephemera pieces from that pack to create my title, and I just layered a banner piece and the word "Stay Sweet." And now I'm going to go through the sticker book to see what stickers I want to use. And I actually go through this sticker book several times, and I like it because it has some of the stickers already have a white back. They're not transparent, and then some of them are transparent. So it kind of, those kind of almost give you like a rub-on kind of look. And you can see I did use 2 of those different ones here. I used the one that said hello over my photo, and then the one that said wonderful life under the title part. And I just kind of spend some time going back and forth trying to see how I want to embellish this. I really wanted a lot of the focus to be on the cut file because I really like the way it looked with the pattern papers. So I do go through the ephemera pack and kind of check back to that again to see if there's anything else I do want to add later on. Some of the embellishments I do pop up with some of the foam, and then some I adhere straight to the layout. And I wanted to offer a tip on how I am purchasing my collections these days. It can get kind of expensive when the new collections come out, and we all want the new collections. So what I've been doing is purchasing like a few of the 12 by 12 papers, maybe like around 5 or 6, and I'm just getting the ones that I really like. And they are usually something that is kind of a subtle pattern, like the one I used for this background, not too busy. Or if it is a busy one, I try to make sure it's something that I can probably fussy cut. And then I also get the 6 by 6 paper pad or the 6 by 8 paper pad because I use that a lot for my cut files. So I always like to have those. Then I choose a few different types of embellishments, things that I know that I will work with, like stickers, sometimes the chipboard, the foam thickers, usually always an ephemera pack. I love to have an ephemera pack because it always has a lot of fun embellishments. So that's kind of how I purchase my collections, and I have gotten several new ones lately. The new Sunny Days collection from Crate Paper, obviously this one from American Crafts by Amy Tan. I've also gotten all 3 of the new Pink Fresh Studio collections, Joyful Day, Everyday Musings, and Out and About. And I did get Dear Lizzie. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but it's one of her more recent ones that has the cute little giraffes. So those are some of the ones I've picked up lately. And I always love using them with my cut files. So that's why I wanted to go with this one for this week. And so I'm pretty much just adding a mix of the stickers here. I wanted to kind of create a little border along the left-hand side of my photo. So I'm using some of those clear stickers. Like I said, those give kind of a rub-on look. And if you wanted those to stand out a little bit more, you could add those to like a white cardstock and then trim around them, kind of fussy cut them, and that would make it where it wasn't transparent if you wanted to do that. So you could have a solid kind of sticker. So I'm going to finish this layout with my date, and I'm just using the Heidi Swap date stamp and my Ranger ink pad to do that. I always like to stamp in black because it makes the date stand out. So here at the end you will see my finished layout and a close-up, and you will also see all the new cut files that are in the Cut Shop store. I'll be sure to leave a link to those and to the Amy Tan collection in the scrapbook.com store. I hope you enjoyed seeing my process for this layout. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope to see you next time.